And now he's testing them in a new environment. His objectives for this speech are to draw entertaining material from sources other than his own personal experiences, and to adapt the material to suit the topic, his personality, and the audience. So he's thinking of everybody in the room at the same time. Whether he's entertaining or not doesn't really matter. It's the matter that he hits the objectives and how much fun he has. At least that's my opinion. He asked me to watch for a few very specific things. And he said, what? Did I say that? No, he didn't. We'll find out what he's doing and how well it goes in a few moments.
All right. Emil's speech is titled Batman, Socrates, and the Unknown Hero. Emil has always aspired to be a hero, even going so far as to diagnosing himself as having a hero complex. Delving into moral philosophy, combative skills, and make-believe, he's going to tell us some tales of his heroism, with ties to the greatest hero of all, Batman. Welcome Emil with Batman, Socrates, and the Unknown Hero.
We are all familiar with the plethora of superheroes. We've seen them in comics, we've seen them in movies, and all sorts of media. But for me, one hero stands out above all. Batman. Why is this? Because of all the superheroes, Batman is the only one without superpowers. And yet, he can stand next to and be respected by those with the greatest of powers. When Batman was a kid, Bruce Wayne, he had to witness firsthand the murder of his parents. This was traumatizing and set him on a path to be Batman. Now, who is Batman? What makes Batman so great? What makes Batman a hero? There are two aspects of Batman. One is his principles, and two is his willpower. So I want to talk about these two concepts. Because Batman is a fictional character, but that doesn't mean that the things he stands for, the things that we admire about him, can't exist in real life. I've come up with two stories to tell you about how they do exist in real life. Many years ago, there was a man who stood before a tribunal. He was charged with many things. Among these were impiety and corrupting the youth. They found him guilty, and they gave him three choices. One, leave the city he loves. Two, stop being a philosopher. And three, death. I'm willing to bet that none of you can name any of the members on the tribunal. But each one of you has heard the name Socrates. Socrates chose death. Why did Socrates choose death? Socrates' whole entire existence, from the time he discovered that he was the wisest of all men to the time of his death, was about living by certain principles. He was about having integrity. If he had left the city, if he had chose to stop being a philosopher, he would have violated those principles. He would have violated his integrity. The only way he can maintain his integrity, the only way that he can give anything he said any credibility, was to choose death. And that's what he did. Socrates took hemlock, and dismay of many, including Plato, he died. But we know his name. And I consider him a hero. Socrates has been incredibly influential. And it's because of everything he said, the fact that he believed in what he said to the point that he was willing to die for it. In a lot of ways, it's like Batman. Batman with his principles. But we also have willpower. A few years ago, there was a story about a ship that was sinking in the Arctic Ocean. It wasn't sinking too fast, but enough to cause panic. Rescuers responded in time with a helicopter. This helicopter was equipped with an apparatus, but it was only able to carry 2 people at a time up to safety. As the ship lowered itself deeper and deeper, there was a man on board who would grab this apparatus and put 2 of his crew members on and send it back up. The vessel would go deeper and deeper. The man would sit in this chilling, gripping, foreboding water, refusing to save himself. And each time, to the point where he was wading in water, grab this apparatus, pit his crew members in, and send it up. After he saved 14 people, he was caught by the current and sent under a sheet of ice. He's unknown, but he's not forgotten. It's a man who used his willpower to do what was right, to save his friends. Maybe they weren't even his friends. See, Batman won't kill. Good or bad, whoever it is, if it's on Batman's watch, he will do everything he can to make sure that they don't die. Batman has principles. A man who stands for justice. A man who will stand against corruption. A man who's incorruptible. We have a couple of stories. And there's many stories. You can go and research stories of people who do heroic feats, living by principles, being determined enough, forcing their willpower to do the right thing. I hope that in some way you're inspired to go do something heroic. I hope in some way you're inspired to live by principles, give your life meaning, to have the willpower to do what's right by those principles and what's right by others. Thank you.